in the camera. Today I'm going to show you how to teach a horse to sidle up. So what's that mean? It means bringing the horse up to the mounting block sideways. So we're actually trying to get them to move into pressure. So I use the fence in the beginning. So if you buy a horse from me and it stops doing it, you'll know how to go back and fix it to get the horse to do it again. So I'm going to bring him next to the fence. I kiss and I move my finger like on the side of their body high up in the air because I'm usually on a mounting block. And then if they don't come over, I tap with my stick on the top of the hip. So that way if you're doing groundwork and other stuff underneath, hopefully they won't get confused. And I tap until they take a step towards me, and then I praise them and give them a break, and then I do it over and over again. Then I start to ask them to move over closer and closer, and then over time I get them to come right up to the fence. So this is a horse who's just started it, so sometimes he gets confused, but he does have the idea. So you can use a long stick, you can use a short stick. The concept is you're trying to get the horse to actually move into the pressure towards the stick or towards the motion. So use a fence to line them up, that'll help you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to raise my finger up, wave it, I'm going to kiss. If he doesn't come over, I'll wave the stick. And then if that doesn't work, I'm going to tap him with the stick. Okay. But the fence is going to help you, so I'm going to keep him up close to the fence. And you're going to reward any motion that they make coming towards you. So we haven't done it with him before, so I don't think he'll just do it. So I wiggle my finger, I'm going to kiss. He knows that means move, but see, he's trying to park out, so I'm going to tap. So as soon as they move one step in the direction you want to stop. But sometimes you have to hit them a fair amount to actually get them there. Good boy. So I'm going to walk them forward to straighten them out, and then I'm going to try it again. Good boy. Good job. Good job. So now, just because the camera can't see, I'm going to walk him around, but normally I would just keep straightening him out and going down the fence. So we're going to try it again. And the concept is, in the beginning, we're just trying to get them to move their hind quarter towards us, so when we get up on the mounting block and wave our finger, they'll come over to us. But on the ground here, I'm going to try and get him to turn all the way. So I want him to know, I want him to come really close to me, so when I get up on the mounting block, he'll understand to come over to me. Okay, so here we go. So we wiggle the finger. I'm going to smooch. Good boy. So when he did it right, reward him with rest. Good. Now this is a smart horse, so I'm going to try it again. Normally I might just do that for, the day and quit, but we'll see if he figures out he's supposed to come closer to me. So. Good boy. Good job. So there he came closer to me. Now again, he hasn't done it very long, so if I ask him for more, he's probably going to get confused and go the other way. So normally I wouldn't do it, but I'm going to do it for the camera so you can see what can happen. Just remember, keep tapping and keep smooching until they come towards you. And you're using the fence to block you so they don't run by, and you also got to use your body so they don't run in between you and the fence. So here we go. So he's confused. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. So there he just used the momentum because he was already moving. I just kept kissing, and then he got the idea and came over. So now I'll try it one more time, and we'll see if we can get him all the way over. But again, I would do this much slower normally. I'm just doing it for the camera so we can video. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Good job. Okay. So now I'm going to reward him by letting him, good boy, eat grass. So, depends how smart your horse is, the other things that you've done with them, if they can figure things out. He knows that if I put pressure on him, that when I give him the release, that's the answer, because I've done so many things with him. So, and he's all about willing to please. So if your horse is not willing to please and they're not very smart, it will take you much longer. Most of the time you can't just do it in one day like that. So I would practice this over and over, and then I would bring the mounting block up by the fence, do it with the mounting block, and then once I could do that, then I actually go over to the mounting block away from the fence, because you got to make sure your horse really understands, because once there's no fence there, then it's going to be much harder. You got to block them from going forward. So I'm going to use the fence. Good boy. So you'll see he already knows how to do it some. Now he might get confused. I'm going to ask for more. Good boy. So he got that, but the other day I had to go, usually I go back down the fence a couple of times. Good boy. So what I usually do in the beginning, I do a couple of steps and then I straighten out 1, 3, and then I do it again. Now see, he's probably associating the fence with doing this, so when I get up on the mounting block, he might not do it so well. So see, good boy. Good boy. Good job. Boy. So I'm going to scratch him and give him a reward. Now I'm going to give you some hints. So you can use the fence to block them, you can use your arm to block them. If you don't block them well enough and they get scared or nervous and you're kissing, what they want to do is run forward, so they run in between the fence and you. If they do that, stop them, back them up like 25 to 50 feet. Because what you're trying to get them to know is that's the wrong answer. I don't want you to do that again. And you don't want them to run you over. But again, they're just doing it because they don't know the answer and they get scared. And a lot of the gaited horses, especially the walking horses, when you put pressure on them, they get a little freaky sometimes in the beginning because somewhere over the line of their life, somebody abused them somewhere. All right, so I'm going to try it again over there, and then he's doing so well, then I'll try it without the fence being there, and we'll see how he does. We've been doing this, I think, 3 days in a row. He's pretty smart, but he did get confused in the beginning, so I would get him to take a step, give him a reward, and then go further down the fence, try it again. You go further down the fence to actually straighten the horse out so their butt's next to the fence again, and then you bring it over. But he did pretty well when I broke it down for him after he got confused, because in the beginning I see, well, how much can I push this horse? Are they smart enough to figure it out? And some are and some aren't, and I just, if they're not, you know, if I push too much and they don't know what the heck I'm talking about, then of course you go back. And anything like this too. See, I'm messing with his hair, and he doesn't want me to touch it. Well, too bad. I'm just going to keep touching it until he does it calmly. And then we realize, oh, they have another hole. He doesn't like me to touch his ears, so maybe I'm just going to do that all day long. It's just kind of touch your ears. I'm not going to hold on to him, but I might wipe over him. So it just becomes a normal situation, and you'll see me with the bike and other things. I do it every day, so we see the bike every day, so the bike's not a big deal. All right, let's go back over here. Come here, buddy. So you block him with your hand. See, he's already doing it, but I didn't ask him, but my hand's blocking him and the fence is blocking him. Good boy. So if he didn't do it, I would tap up here with my stick. Good boy. just dissociating the fence with what he's supposed to do. So I'm just going to stand here by his head and, good boy. Now, you see, he didn't move over as far. Now he's going the wrong way, but the fence isn't there to block him. So then when he comes towards me, I stop tapping. Good boy. You're doing such a good job. Yes, you're getting smarter every day. Now I'm going to try it again. Good boy. So he kind of moved sideways, but he tried something and it wasn't away from me, so that was good. And I'm just scratching him. So some of them I give cookies, it makes them learn much quicker, but some of them get so excited with the cookies they start moving all over the place and they can't stand still. And then you just have to be like, you can't do it with the cookies then. Oh boy. So see, he's starting to get the hang of it. So you're trying to get the horse to come closer, because what happens when we try to get on? They all move away from us. So we want them to move into us. So if we climb on a fence or on a tree, we don't want them to walk away. We want them to get closer. Good job. Good boy. And you want it so they're right next to you. So I'm going to keep going to see if I can get them closer to me. Good boy. And I'm going to give him a whole bunch of scratches. Good job, buddy. So now he's right here. So if I was on a tree or on the fence, I could get on him. So it doesn't take real long to do, but it's all about pressure and release. And if you don't do it at the right time, or you ask for too much, or you confuse them, then they learn the wrong thing. Now we're going to show you with the mounting block. And again, I would do it, if your horse isn't smart, do it with the mounting block first at the fence, and then try it with the mounting block with nothing there. So you're going to walk up to it, over it, and then ask the horse to come over. So wiggle, kiss, good boy. Every time he takes a step towards you, then reward him with rest, or you could give him a treat if he doesn't get too crazy with the treats. So here we go again. So wiggle, good boy. So he moved a little closer to me with his front feet, so that's fine. Now I'm still going to try and get his hind quarter, even though I could get on a little closer to me. So here I go, I'm going to wiggle. Good boy. So now he's lined up where I could just get on him right here. Good boy. Now again, if you give treats, some of them get too excited, so you got to be careful with that, or you might want to wait until you get on to give the treat. Good boy. So we'll try it again. But the horse is looking for the release, so if the pressure releases when they come closer, they'll come closer to you. But if the pressure releases when they run away from you, that's and you don't get on. That's why so many of the horses learn to mess with people, because they get away from you and then there's no pressure. So it's a reward. So you want to keep the pressure up and block them. You got to block them with your hands, so they got to be trained in the halter and respect your space before you try it. Okay. I'm just going to turn on, and I'm going to just get up here. So he's a little bit far away. Wiggle. Good boy. Good job. Now I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to wiggle. So again, their eyes are on the side of their head. So can you see my finger? So he moved a little bit. Good boy. Now he's like, I think you can get on from there. I think that's pretty good, lady. But maybe I'm going to be on a log, so I want to ask him to come over just in case. Good boy. So just a little bit more. So then once you can do it from the mounting block, then practice it, you know, when you're on the trail or on fence and different places, so they just get used to coming up next to you. Good job. So I'll show you another one that's pressure and release to get their head down if you can't get the bridle on or something. So what you do is you take your two fingers and you're going to push on the top of their head. And I'm holding he's pushing on the fence. I'm holding it up here and I'm digging my fingers in. Hey buddy. Yeah, he's pushing on our phone. So you hold until they actually drop their head down. So if he won't drop his head down, I might pull on the halter a little bit to help. But if he goes up, I'm not going to let go. And then as soon as he I knew that was going to happen. As soon as he makes a move to put his head down, I release, hey, Jackson. Everybody likes to get in the camera. Okay, so we'll try it again. So we'll put our 2 fingers up here. We're going to hold pressure. His head's going up, so we're not letting go. And this horse was not messing with the fence at all until we came over here. Everybody wants attention. Hey, Jackson. Okay, and when his head goes down, I release. So apparently that's all I'm going to be able to show you, because Jackson keeps saying it's his turn to come out, and he's going to keep messing with us until we get him out. So I might demonstrate it with him. I switched horses, and I switched where I was doing it, because every time I put a phone up on their fence, of course they all push on it, because they're all looking for attention. So we're going to try getting this horse, his head down. So 2 fingers, push up on the top of his head, hold pressure. So I hold lightly first, because I want to do it with light pressure, but if they don't get it, nice sigh, but his head didn't go down, so now I'm going to push a little bit harder. And as soon as it goes down, I release. Good boy! Good job! And then I make a big fuss. And then, well, here he goes. So some are smarter than others and get it down right away. So I'm going to push, hold the pressure, just keep it the same, keep their head straight, and as soon as it goes down, I'm going to release. So this way, if you had a big tall horse, you could teach him to do that, and then when you go to bridle, you could get his head down, you could push here, and then put the bridle on. Oh, you're so cute now. And that would make it much easier for you to get the bridle on their head instead of you reaching up and trying to get that. So I really love training horses. It's lots of fun. They just, you know, kind of react to what you do, and some are great and some are harder, but they all teach you something, and they'll all get better if you put the time into them. I put a lot of time into these horses, like hours a day, because what I'm trying to do is, you know, train them as best as I can and find them good homes. Whoops. And the problem with the gaited horses, you know, most of people's problems is the horses aren't trained well. Because when you train an Arabian, a quarter horse, thoroughbred, any of the you know, sporting breeds, they get lots of training on them. They get saddle broke, then they get ridden in the arena. So then they learn to walk, trot, and canter, and then they learn to leg yield and do turn on the forehand, turn on haunches, back up, and they're ridden a long time in that arena before then they start taking them out on the trail. So those horses are well broke. The problem with these guys is they're a lot more, you know, they're calmer and accepting, so people skip a lot of steps, and what they do is they get them broke to the halter, and then what do they do next? They get them broke to the saddle, and now they'll carry somebody in the saddle, so now let's go trail riding. And that's why a lot of them, you know, when you try them or you get them, they don't know how to stand still to get on, they don't know how to back up, they don't know their turn on the forehand or haunches, they don't know how to side pass, and therefore people have a lot of issues. A lot of times they don't even have a good whoa on them. And it's not so much the horse's fault, but the people who had it. And, you know, it's a way to make quick money is sell these horses that are unbroke. But what you're getting is a green horse, and if you don't know what you're doing, as they say, green on green makes black and blue. So I try to train him, you know, as long as I can. Of course, it costs a lot of money to board a horse and then, you know, put your time of training in. So I can't keep them, you know, for years. I would love to, but I can't, and you would probably like to stay. But that's why I spent so many hours a day trying to put this training in and time, and then trying to make it a match, and then spend time with the person, or try and keep in contact, so if they have any issues I can tell them what to do, because a lot of times people do the wrong thing and they actually make it worse instead of better. So the other thing, when you know you're looking for a horse, you really got to describe yourself well. Don't oversell yourself, undersell yourself. You know, so if you're an intermediate rider but you have confidence issues, say you're a beginner, because then they understand, like, oh, they need a beginner horse, something that's going to pack them. Or say I have no confidence. But a lot of people don't. They say, oh, I'm a good rider, I have a trainer, blah blah blah, I rode dressage, And then we find later out they're petrified of the trails. Every time they come to an obstacle, they're holding onto the horn, not steering the horse, and then you realize, well, they're really not an intermediate rider, because that person would help the horse. So try to get the best ones trained as well as they can. Make sure they can do those maneuvers, because if you don't know how to move a horse's shoulders and hindquarters, and then the horse doesn't know how to do it, when you get into problems, you can't get out, because you have to be able to control those body parts to help you. And so if you can't control those body parts, you might have a big wreck that could have been solved if the horse knew, but then you also have to know how to do it. So that's the thing. And then to practice. All right, he wants me to ride him now, so off we go.